Right. Well, let's go across to the big story we are following right now, which is the killing of Ponty Chadha, the liquor baron, businessman of an empire of 6,000 crore rupees across North India, primarily Uttar Pradesh, in an incident at his farmhouse in South Delhi's Chhatarpur earlier this morning. He and his brother reportedly pulled out firearms at each other and have shot each other dead. Right. Well, as we are saying that this incident took place about 12 noon in the afternoon in Delhi. His Ponty Chadha and his brother Hardeep have been killed. Their bodies taken to the Fortis hospital. First reports, of course, said that Hardeep was killed after unknown assailants had entered their home, in which a guard was also injured. Now, the two bodies have been taken to Fortis hospital in Delhi, not far from Chhatarpur. We also believe that Chadha himself has quite a serious contingent of private security guards as well. There has been an attack, a similar incident at his property in Moradabad in early October as well. My colleague Tanima Biswas joining me for more on this. Tanima, we initially were reporting unknown assailants. We changed that as the police changed their investigation and findings to the fact that brothers pulled out arms on each other. What's the latest that the police are saying?
That's right, Maya. In fact, we've got a timeline of what had happened between, say, from 12:31 onwards. What we are hearing is that at around 1 p.m., police had got a call. There was a PCR call made around 1 o'clock, which reported that there was firing inside the farmhouse. When police reached, they, of course, found that there were that a few guards in the house were injured, as well as Ponty Chadha and Hardeep, his brother. They were both rushed to the hospital where they were declared dead. Now, what we know is that apparently there was a meeting between the brothers today around 12 o'clock, where they were supposed to discuss some matters over property. There was a property dispute between the two brothers, and they had decided to talk about it today, which is when they had gathered at the spot. But then, unfortunately, there was some fresh dispute over properties that both the brothers owned, and during which the entire meeting took a violent turn and shots were fired. Now, what we are not yet clear about is whether Ponty Chadha himself fired at Hardeep and vice versa or not. But there were security guards present at the spot who, in fact, tried to intervene. That is what we are being told so far. Who tried to intervene, and one of them, in fact, got seriously injured in the incident. He was shot at as well. So, what is being told to us at the moment is that there was a property dispute between the two brothers, which is why they had met up today at the farmhouse to discuss the matter, but it took a violent turn, and we know that Ponty Chadha was injured by 6 bullets, and we also know that, of course, it was all at point-blank range because they were both sitting at very close range, and Hardeep was also injured by 8 bullets. So that is the sequence of events which is coming out to us at the moment, Maya, and what the police are telling us is that though it seems at the moment that it is a property dispute between the two brothers which led to this entire incident, what was the immediate triggering point is not clear yet. Maya?
Right, Tanima, even though it was a property dispute, we are also reporting that similar incidents took place in a property owned by Ponty Chadha in Moradabad in early October. Are the police saying there's a link between the two?
At that moment when the firing incident had in fact been reported from Moradabad, Maya, what had happened was there were some relatives. Ponty Chadha himself was not present at his ancestral property at Moradabad, but there were some relatives inside who later told the police apparently that a pistol had accidentally gone off. One of the relatives who had a pistol on his person at that house, his gun had accidentally gone off, which is why there were firing. There was firing reported from the house. In fact, some neighbors around had called at the police saying for 15 minutes firing was reported inside the house. But later, that is what the status report that the police had also filed, saying that it seemed to be a case of accidental firing, and then there was no intention to shoot at anybody in that incident. But yes, as you mentioned, this had taken place less than a month back. Officially, that is what the version that has been given to the UP police. And close on the heels, of course, what we saw happening today firing which was reported, a shootout which was reported around mid-afternoon, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, around that time. And both the brothers were present at the farmhouse, were there to discuss matters, matters of property and property which they owned apparently in Delhi and some parts of Uttar Pradesh, which is when the meeting turned violent, and the guards who were present at the spot apparently tried to intervene and stop Ponty Chadha as well as Hardeep, who were apparently armed as well, but it is again not exactly clear but whether they were the ones who actually fired at each other or there was a crossfire which took place, because of which whether any guard had fired shots as well, and whether those bullets had injured both Ponty Chadha as well as Hardeep. Maya?
Right. Also, Tanima, as we're saying that this incident took place in a fairly upmarket part of town, in a sense, the farmhouses of Chhatarpur, part of the landed gentry of Delhi as well. Are the police talking about the presence of these firearms? I mean, were they licensed? Why did they have them? Or is it just par for course when it comes to big business families now?
That's right. As we know that Ponty Chadha for a fact did have a lot of security with him wherever he went. In fact, his whether this gun that was used in the shootout today was a licensed gun or not, that is still being determined. We know that the bodies have been taken to the hospital, so they are of course going to find out which guns, what make these bullets are of, and which gun was in fact used in these incidents, and whether they belong to Ponty Chadha, whether this was a licensed gun or not. At the moment, the police are still coming out with those facts, which will be reported a little later. But yes, there was a lot of security arrangement made for Ponty Chadha, as we have been mentioning, that he has been a very controversial figure for quite some time now. He was a liquor baron, almost monopolized his business in Uttar Pradesh, was known to be very close to former Chief Minister Mayawati, and also had made links with Akhilesh Yadav, the present Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, in a very short duration of time. So he was a very influential and controversial person, and which is why for him to have a lot of security around him was not surprising. But yes, whether it was a licensed gun which he had, whether Hardeep also, who we know was also armed, whether he had a licensed gun on his person or not, that is exactly not yet clear. These finer details will be coming to us in a short while.